on me! Stop! Damn. Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a journey. Tonight, in this midnight hour, at 9:36 p.m., we're going to be exploring extraterrestrial life and unidentified flying objects in the most reliable source, Reddit. Whether you believe in aliens or not, these stories have... It's an undeniable fact that the universe, the space, is vast. And so is this Reddit thread. My God. Also, we're wearing... What are you pointing at? What are you pointing at? We're wearing tinfoil hats. And by we, I mean me. So that the aliens can't understand what we're thinking or saying. Because they're right above me. Made you look. This story is on the Reddit thread r/alien abductees r/aliens, and this story is from Half Empty 69, 13 years ago. The first time I had ever seen anything, I was 7 in Houston, Texas. I used to like to climb on top of my mom's suburban the car in the driveway and stare at the stars. One night I saw an intensely bright floating light over the tree line, probably about a half a mile away. I hollered, but nobody came to see it. I did not see anything else until March of 2008. This experience happened between the 10th and the 15th, but I can't give a specific date because I was up for 4 days trying to come up with some explanation to satisfy what I had seen. This was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. My mother lived in a garden home community, all houses the same size, all one story, and you had great visibility distance. Distance-wise. I walked out of my buddy's place at exactly 4 a.m. and saw a bright starry night. When I walked out, something caught my eye to the left of me. I looked over and saw a bright blue, yellow, green, white, red, orange, strobing, flashing light floating silently to the left. I watched as it passed in front of the moon behind my friend's place, and I saw the outline of the craft. It was a teardrop sunflower seed type shape, and the craft seemed to have the lights being transmitted from the top half of it. It was almost as if it was transmitting some type of light pattern upward. It also had a dark, thin, smooth line of exhaust that disappeared 50 to 75 feet behind it. This all occurred no less than 400 yards away from me. After it passed the moon, I ran inside and grabbed someone. He saw it, but it was too far away to make out what it was. I went home, which was only a few blocks away, and looked out from the driveway in the same direction that I had seen the craft earlier. I saw 2 dim white lights slowly coming over the horizon at a slow pace. I then ran inside and grabbed my mother out of bed. We stood there for about 20 minutes while 5 separate crafts flew over us. What the fuck? First came 2, then 2, then 1. About 6 to 7 minutes apart from each other. Maybe 20 miles per hour. Maybe 200 feet up. Completely silent. The way that they looked from underneath was each one had 2 huge bright white lights, which were maybe 30 to 40 feet across. They also had a pulsating red one between the white lights and dimmed and relit. I would estimate from the size of the white lights that each craft was... What are you doing? The last craft that flew over us flew over lower and slower than the first 4 had. Then it made a noise. It let out a sound that to this day haunts me. What I would best compare to it would be this sound. There's a YouTube link. Oh.
There's a moth on my finger.
Ew, that would freak me out. Stop. Followed immediately after by this sound. There's another YouTube link. Daddy's getting spoiled. Video's not available anymore because they fucking died. Because it was an alien and they fucking died. That's the best I could find. These 2 sounds except make it digital and multiply it by 50. This was loud. The craft did that twice. These crafts flew directly over us, and I believe that sound was an acknowledgement. Whatever was piloting it knew we were watching it. It was like a hello. I immediately started crying. I had no idea what I was looking at or what I just heard. I have to hold my breath because I have to itch my head. Bitch! Damn! This bitch got another experience! The second big experience I had occurred a couple weeks later. I was sitting in my driveway smoking a cigarette, listening to my iPod somewhere around 2 a.m. Cool guy alert! I decided to pause my iPod to turn on the backlight. Waved my hand over it a couple times, making somewhat of a strobe pattern. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything come up, but I got that feeling, that watched feeling. I looked up, and directly above me was a trapezoid-shaped craft with rounded edges that had a dark red and black pulsating glowing outline. It was like flowing electricity. It was not even 75 feet up. I could have hit this thing with a rock. That's exactly what my mom said. That is exactly what she said about... Okay.
That's exactly what she said.
I stood there while it hovered...
No! Bean break.
I stood there while it hovered directly over me, completely silent for maybe 10 to 15 seconds, while it made this kind of smooth motion, never getting more than 20 feet away from its original position. It was extremely fascinating, but I was frozen stiff. After those few seconds, I waved one hand at it in a friendly manner. It knew that I saw it, but made no effort to evade my detection. Makes me think it wanted me to follow it. Ew. Although I was too freaked out to think about that at the time. I have seen that same craft on 3 other different occasions, once again in Tuscaloosa, once in Hoover, and once in Bessemer. The time I saw it in Hoover was at an apartment complex at the top of a huge hill with a great overlook. It was nighttime, and I was with friends. Over the overlook, I saw a gray craft facing my direction that looked similar to a Hoth fighter. It's a Star Wars reference, apparently. We got a fucking nerd on our hands. And as soon as I saw it, it took off into the night extremely quick. One strange story is one night when I had a dream in Tuscaloosa. In the dream, I couldn't see or hear anything, but I could feel things. I was laying on something cold, and I felt what seemed like rubber between my legs around my junk. What the fuck?
Condom, bro.
The aliens are touching him. They're touching his butthole. And if you think that you're safe because you are having a tinfoil on your head, your butthole's not safe. Okay? Check between your legs for rubber before you go to sleep at night. It was very strange to me, since a lot of people who report abductions report sperm and eggs being taken for breeding programs. The next morning, I went to let the dog out in the backyard, which is very small. To the left of the patio, there was a solid white ring in the grass that was maybe 8 to 10 feet wide. I showed my mother, and she had told me that she heard a noise that woke her up the night before, but she just dismissed it. What? Another extremely confusing experience I had occurred in my driveway in Tuscaloosa. It was nighttime, and I heard this static that I could compare to a jet. I looked over, and directly above the community college was a light blue slit in the sky. I would say it was maybe 200 yards long, completely vertical, and had what looked like white electric currents coming off of both sides of it. I looked at it, and maybe about 25 shot out of the slit to the left, one at a time, at a quick pace, leaving the trail behind it that I previously talked about. After they passed, the bottom of the slit went upward until the slit closed, and it made a strange sound, then it was gone. What kind of freaking Sky OCs fucking... They freaking put condom and jorked it, and they used his sperm for the Sky OC to produce alien babies. That was a lot. That was a lot for me, and that was weird. If you're having 4 experiences, and you wake up to aliens jerking you,
Jorking the peanut.
I think it's time to put on the tinfoil hat. Okay? Put the tinfoil condom on, okay? You might be an alien. They might be coming back for you. I don't know what you want me to tell you. That shit's weird. This is from XC Drummer Chic. Drummer Chic. I don't fucking know. 13 years ago. Set the stage. 2010, Los Angeles, California. I was cleaning up my apartment when I noticed my kitchen lamp swinging and my building rocking. What the fucking shit? Obviously, earthquake. It lasted for a bit, and I called my friend to make sure she was okay. As we were chatting, I was standing out on my window balcony, which overlooks Runyon Canyon.
Dunyon.
Sunyon. I suddenly noticed this object hovering high in between the mountains. It was way too high to be a helicopter and too small and low to be a plane. What made it super strange was its shape and lack of movement. It was orb-esque, and stood stagnant for about solid 3 minutes before moving at a snail's pace. It also seemed to reflect off the sun, but only at some angles. I grabbed my crappy digital camera and tried to capture it as best as I could. After moving toward the left, then once again staying completely still, it immediately darted at what seemed like an impossible speed in the opposite direction upwards and disappeared. Plain old man-made, government, or other. It was one of the weirdest, best sightings I've ever experienced, especially since it was in broad daylight. When I looked through the pictures, I thought I got nothing, but after zooming in, I noticed the object showed up in 3. I don't have Photoshop or anything, so it's not the clearest quality, but hey, still neat. I think she provided photos. You see that?
The glare.
It's a sky nipple.
For the babies we just birthed.
Sky nipple. We're doing space, vagina, and nipples. It's weird as fuck. I like that she provided pictures, and that definitely doesn't. That looks weird. It looks like somebody just
put their
a nipple up there. What?
Drop their nips.
Drop their nips. They dropped their nipples. We're reading one more story. Last story. Stop taking it, Bean. Okay. This is by KKM1992. Again, 13 years ago. This is a story of my father's. It happened in 1982, while my father was stationed on a military base in New Brunswick. One night, my father's best friend and his girlfriend left just after dark to go see Tron. There was no movie theater near the base, so they had a long drive ahead of them. They said goodbye to my father and left. About an hour later, my friend's father and his girlfriend were back on the base. The car pulled in, and my father immediately noticed that it was damaged pretty badly and covered in several different colors of paint. My father asked them what had happened, why they had not gone to see the movie. They brushed him off and went to bed. Dad said they looked pretty shook up. A few days later, my father got it out of his friend what had happened. My father's friends were driving along a stretch of highway with not much but trees and hills. When they rounded a bend, they noticed that a bunch of strange lights were coming from the hill just ahead, where no lights should be because there was nothing around them for miles. Just at the base of that hill was a parking lot for a park of some kind with a narrow entrance. A bunch of cars were pulling into the parking lot to investigate the lights, so my father's friend pulled in too. Everyone got out of the car and were about to start hiking to the top of the hill when a large disc with flashing lights rose above the hill's peak, emitting a loud, strange sound. Everyone who was there ran for their car and tried desperately to crash their way out through the narrow entrance as only one car could fit. Okay, tiny entrance, everybody in a fucking parking lot, and they're like, holy fucking shit! Oh my god! And then they all driving, and then they're smishing each other. Cars scraped together, breaking parts off, transferring paint. My father's friend drove back to the base as fast as possible. My father's friend took him to the spot that it had happened, and there were car mirrors and other miscellaneous parts littering the parking lot. A few days later, men in black suits showed up on their base looking for people. They talked to my father's friend, then sent him on his way. My father asked him about the men wanted to see him for. They said that he better shut the fuck up and don't tell anybody about anything that happened if he wanted to keep his military career. Holy fucking shit. I think we should do a deep dive into the fucking men in black in themselves. I've heard of many stories about alien crash sites and men in black suits, and a lot of theories. I think your dad, I think it's a good thing your dad shut the fuck up. I think Reddit is a great place. I think everything that we read was extremely reliable. Everything. But nothing is as reliable as your own true story. Am I right, guys? Like for part 2, if you want me to tell you my story so that you'll believe me, so that you can finally hear a story that you'll actually believe. Because these guys are lying. We all know they're lying. Them and their fathers and the men in black suits. I'm just kidding. They're probably telling the truth. Thank you for joining me in the middle of the woods in my house to listen to me tell you about the Reddit aliens. Okay? We're retiring the tinfoil hat.